you celebrating the Lunar New Year. Happy New Year to one and all. I hope that you all headed off to a good lunch. And after this, you'll have a wonderful reunion dinner and the rest of the holidays, okay? Just a gentle reminder that we will only be back in school on Wednesday, okay? Which will coincidentally also be the first Zoom session that we're going to have on Wednesday, right? So I hope that you're all going to be able to make it next Wednesday, right, for our Zoom session. I will time it at 2:30 in the afternoon, like before, right? So the last time, I'm very sorry I wasn't able to make it because my mom made a surprise appearance and, I had to cancel the lesson like on the same day. So thank you all for understanding. My mom is with me now. She usually stays happily retired in Malaysia, but she came by to pay me a surprise visit, right? She came earlier than I expected. Have our Wednesday lesson, okay? So now that I have explained myself, let me get into today's, all right? And I'm going to go at a pretty fast speed, and I'm going to ask questions along the way. So if you know the answer, please, the usual convention is to either use the hands up emoticon or just physically indicate by waving your hand or raising that you wish to answer the question, all right? That way we have participation, we'll move along much more quickly, all right? Also try to participate at least once in today's meeting. I would like for there to be multiple people answering and not just with the same person answering multiple questions, okay? Yeah, so that would be really good, right? Other than the time when you're answering a question, please make sure you are muted and that your camera is on so that I can see that you are visible, participating, and attentive to the lesson, okay? So did you hear what I just did? Visible, participating, and attentive. These are examples of the structure I'm going to teach you today, right? Which is the parallel structure. And this parallel structure incorporates the use of a rule I've taught you earlier, which is the rule of three. Can you all still remember the rule of three? Right? The rule of three is when you use things in groups of three. Why three and not two and not four? Because there's something about the number three that makes it very appealing, right? When you use it, that particular pattern. So please make sure that you're, like conscious of the fact that the number three is quite significant and that it can be used quite effectively in English. Okay, so today's lesson is going to be built around the idea of the rule of three. And I'll show you how to apply it, various sentence types. For what purpose? A, for grammar, obviously. B, for writing, right? So when you write, you have different kinds, varieties of sentences. And of course, C is also to review some of these grammar features along with you because these are essential features that you're going to need when you head into PSL. Be very familiar with some of these very essential grammar features. Okay, so A, of course, it's to help you to communicate better. B, it's help you to write better. And C, it's to expose you to these grammar features once again, so that you're able to use them accurately in PSLE. Okay, so that's the purpose for today's lesson. Okay, maybe as a way to start the session, can you all tell me what are the 5 main types of words in the English language? The 5 main types of words in the English language. Anything that occurs to you, right? Okay, maybe we start with Adrian and Xuan Yi. Adrian, Xuan Yi, Joshua, and Skylar, and Clarissa. Okay, so you must go in order. So Adrian first, Xuan Yi second, Joshua third, Skylar fourth, and Clarissa fifth. You must each name me 5 different types of words that make up the English. Okay, Adrian, go first.
Nouns, verbs,
Excuse me,
adjectives.
Adrian, stop. The whole point of me calling 5 names is why? Why did I call 5 names, Adrian?
I thought you said like all of us have to say 5.
Do you think that that makes sense?
No.
No, right? So you must apply your logical thinking to everything that's happening. You mustn't do things without first filtering through your thought process. So if I call 5 names and I want them to speak in order, that must be because I want each of you to name one word type, with the most difficult one being the last person. Am I correct? If you say all 5 word types, will there be anything left for the other 4? No. So let's start with nouns. Thank you very much. Okay, Shani?
Verbs.
Thank you. Joshua?
Adjectives.
Okay, thank you. Skylar?
Adverbs.
Thank you. Clarissa?
Articles? Was it articles or connectors?
Both are acceptable. Articles and connectors are types of words. Okay, thank you very much. So you realize that actually there are more than 5, right? Okay, if you count everything that everybody else has said, it's more than 5, right? It's nouns, it's verbs, it's adjectives, it's adverbs. It's what's the one that was missing that nobody has said up until this point? That's the 5th type. Okay, let's see. Duncan, would you like to try?
Is it prepositions?
Thank you very much. It is indeed prepositions, which is the 5th type, and then connectors and articles, which Clarissa mentioned, are types 6 and 7 respectively, right? So these 7 make up 95% of the sentence and word types that we use to build the English language and communicate with one another, okay? So if you master these 5 to 7 types, then you're in a very strong position, at least at the primary level, okay? So we're all good now. Let's go into the lesson proper. Thank you all for your participation. That's a good warm-up, right? Okay, so today I'm going to talk about how this parallel structure applies to nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, right? These are the 4 main families of words that I'm going to apply parallel structures to. So it is important that you know what they are, okay? So let's go. Let's start with the first one, okay? And I will write on this, so please make sure that you take down notes along the way as I write, okay? Whatever you feel is important, right? Okay, so let's go to the target for today's lesson. So today, right, okay, sorry, Shani, can you lower your hand so that you're not, yeah, thank you very much. So today's targets are going to be understanding what is parallel structures, identify these parallel structures in different word types, like I mentioned, in nouns, in verbs, in adjectives, in adverbs, and then finally to apply these word types and these parallel structures into your writing, right? Which is where everything will always be shown, right? In your writing, everything you learn about grammar, vocabulary, everything you learn about word types and everything you learn about like the different ways to express yourself should always find its expression in your writing, okay? So that's what we're going to do today. Right, so what are parallel structures? Okay, so I want all of you to take note and if possible, you can just write down some of these keywords here. So they are same grammatical forms that express similar or equal ideas. Okay, I'll show you examples later. So if you're taking notes, you might want to write about the fact that it's the same grammatical form, it's the same grammatical function. Okay, so same form, same function, and then you put them together in a way that is consistent, such that it produces a coherent and balanced sentence. What do I mean by that? I mean that the sentence makes perfect sense and it sounds, if I may use the word, beautiful, right? It sounds beautiful. And that's where the rule of 3 comes in. It's symmetrical, it's balanced, okay? It's coherent. I understand what the sentence is saying. It's clear, okay? So that's what we're going to try to achieve by using these parallel structures today. And I'll show you how they occur in all these different word types. And I need you to help me to get some examples going as well, okay? So here we go. All right, so let's start with verb phrases. So now I'm talking about verbs, right? So I'm talking about verb phrases. So a verb phrase, right, is basically a verb paired with other types of words, including verbs, in order to add to the sentence. So in this case, right, you notice that the first example, she studies, she practices, and she improves. These are all verbs, okay? So she studies hard, practices regularly, and improves quickly, right? Notice that these are verb phrases, studies hard, practices regularly, improves quickly. And the adverbs are here describing the verbs, right? Okay, so studies, how does she study hard? How does she practice regularly? How does she improve quickly, right? Notice here that each of the verbs is in the present tense and in the simple form, right? It is in its simplest form. So she studies hard, she practices regularly, and she improves quickly. Notice how these verbs are in the same form and they repeat themselves in a rule of 3, right? So this is called a parallel structure. Do you all get it? So when you try to group things together in a sentence, right, try to arrange them in a way that is similar to this, right? 3 types of verbs related to one another in the same form. So remember earlier, we were talking about how it must be similar or equal ideas and how it must be consistent in the way that it's presented, right? Yeah, so here you can see these words are all similar. Studies, practices, improves. Okay, you can see very, very similar. Okay, so if you follow, it's very easy to see how the verb phrases function side by side, right? And here, her grandma has visited Paris, has seen the Eiffel Tower, and has enjoyed the French cuisine. So has visited over here, sorry, let me just has visited, has seen, and has enjoyed. Notice here that it's no longer in the simple present tense, but it's now in the present perfect tense. And it's consistent, right? Has visited, has seen, has enjoyed, right? The word has here, and here is an auxiliary verb, okay? Bonus points. Does anybody remember me using this word auxiliary verb? Does anybody remember what it means? Anyone? Any brave soul wants to try whether they remember what I mentioned about auxiliary verbs? No one? Anyone? Going once, going twice? Okay, then I will help you, okay? An auxiliary verb is a helping verb, right? So it's a verb that helps another verb. So for example, right? Okay, sorry. For example, right? If I have the word visited, right? Then if I put the word has visited, sorry, let me change the color to something that's a little bit easier for you all to see. If I use the word has visited, then this word has helps the verb visited. How does it help the verb visited? By adding information to the verb visited. Has visited tells me something about the action visited. What does it tell me? Anyone? If I just said visited and if I said has visited, what's the difference? Solomon?
The timing of which the activity takes place.
Yes, very good. Okay, so this auxiliary verb tells me that this particular action has just taken place, right? Has visited, has just visited. So when I add an auxiliary verb, it helps the main verb by giving more information about it. Do you all understand auxiliary verbs now? Okay, so an auxiliary verb is simply a verb you add to another verb in order to help it along, whether by giving information about the timing or by giving information about the frequency of something. For example, continuous tenses, right? She is eating. So it tells you that it's a repetitive act, it's a continual act, right? So auxiliary verbs can give me information about the main verb and help it along. And in this case, if you notice, the parallelism, right, occurs when I repeat the same form of the verb. Has visited, has seen, has enjoyed. The auxiliary verb is attached to every other verb so that there's a pattern here. So when you all use verbs together, they must be in the same tense or they must be in the same auxiliary family. Okay, can you all see? So the first example is the same tense, right? Studies, practices, improves. The second one has the same auxiliary attached to it, right? Has visited, has seen, and has enjoyed, right? So notice it's something, comma, and something. It's the same pattern, right? Something, comma, and something, right? That's the pattern that parallel sentences will follow. And this way, you can put a lot more information into one sentence. Then, imagine having to write 3 separate sentences. That would be a lot more inconvenient, okay? So today's lesson is basically going to be quite repetitive. We're going to see the same pattern occur in all the different word types, but we're starting with verbs because verbs are the most important part of the English language, right? Okay, so now let's go into some other examples, right? So notice here, can you see here there's also an auxiliary verb, right? But it's just that this auxiliary verb no longer attaches to every single verb, okay? See, were singing, right? But then there's a missing were dancing, and there's a missing were laughing, okay? But there's no need for it because it's now like invisible. It applies itself to all 3, right? So the campus were singing, dancing, and laughing. They were singing, they were dancing, they were laughing. So you can sometimes put the auxiliary verb at the beginning and then remove it from all future occurrences, right? But it's implicit, it's there, it's just invisible, right? Can you all see? This can work, right? And then finally for infinitive, right? Remember the two infinitive, right? So to become a good writer, you need to, see this is the infinitive here, to read, to write, and to revise. Okay, so again, the infinitive is invisible. I take away the infinitive, but it is there. To read, to write, and to revise your work. Okay, and can you also remember when you have a to infinitive, the verb always occurs in what form? I taught you all this, right? To infinitives, verbs will occur in what form, Adrian?
Base.
Yes, in the base or in the simplest form, right? So again, this is, like I said, a revision of all your grammar lessons up until today. So when you see true infinitives, you remember that the verb that precedes it is always in its base or most simple form. There's no suffix added to it, no ing, no ed, no en, nothing. Okay, so that's parallelism in verb phrases. Let's practice now. Okay, so I'm just going to call on some of you, and I want you to generate a sentence that contains three verbs that are used in the same pattern and that are in that same format that I just covered. Okay, so I want you all to take a minute to think of a sentence containing three related verbs. So those verbs can either be in a simple present tense, or they can be in a simple past tense, or they can be in, with auxiliary verbs accompanying them, all right? Or they can be in the form of two infinitives, right? So I introduced many different ways for you to use verbs in that sentence pattern, but I want the pattern. I want that pattern that I just introduced to you. Okay, so I will call on you randomly. I will not seek volunteers at this stage. Okay, let's see. Can I have Yu Wen to give me the first example? Can I have Hao Qian to give me the second example? And can I have Tanisht to give me the third example? I like 3 examples. Okay, yeah, so I'll give you all a minute to think, and then you come up with an example. All right, very good. Everybody, you're doing well so far. Good job. Okay, this let me put my scarf away. Okay. Okay. Yuan, are you ready? Would you like to unmute yourself and give us your example?
I have done well for math, done well for science, and done well for Chinese for my exam.
Okay, I've done well for. So done well for is your verb phrase, right? Done well for. Done well for math, for science, and for Chinese. But notice here, what is repeated? Is it a verb? Is math, science, and Chinese a verb? Even is math, science, and Chinese verb? No, it's not, right? So actually, your done well is the only verb. So not the correct expression. What I want you to repeat 3 times are 3 different verbs. I don't want you to have the same verb, but 3 different nouns. That will come later for the noun phrases. So you actually answered in advance. Even you've answered for the noun phrase later. So that's not a bad answer, but remember, I'm looking for verb phrases. Okay, let's see the second person. Hao Qian, can you give us your answer first?
Can I think a bit first?
I've just given you like additional minutes to think. You're not the first person I called for. Can you answer now, please?
To sleep well, you need to relax, de-stress, and not be on your phone.
Okay, so you need to sleep well. You need to. Can you repeat your sentence again? Relax. Okay.
De-stress, and
De-stress.
not be on your phone the whole time.
Okay. Can you see that your pattern is a little bit off? Hao Qian? So your first two are fine, right? Relax is a true infinitive verb. Relax. De-stress, to de-stress is a true infinitive. But then you inserted a negative. You inserted a not, right? That is already breaking the pattern. Everybody, do you all see? Can you all see that the pattern is broken, right? So you must use the same. So if you want to use negative, right, then you got to use negative all the way. So to not something, and not something. But if you want to introduce a negative, boys and girls, you mustn't use it to break the pattern, right? That's not intentional use of it already. Okay, but good. These are good examples. So what Yu Wen has done is a good example of using the same verb but not repeating it. What Hao Qian has done is a good example of not introducing a negative, right? Okay, Kanish, can you give us a third example, hopefully without any need to correct anything? Okay.
The army sergeant told the new recruit to jump, skip, and jog.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So I'm just going to abbreviate your answer so that everybody can see. So Kanish, can you tell me what type of verb you are using here?
A base form verb.
Why? Because it's in the... Why are you using base form? Why are you using base form?
Because
Why?
to.
Yes, very good.
Infinitive to.
Excellent. Thank you, Kanish. Okay, because you've used the to infinitive structure, right? So to what were your verbs again? Repeat.
Jump, skip, and run.
Thank you. Jump, comma, skip, comma. Sorry about my comma. I'm trying to write in a very awkward position. Okay. By the way, I just want to highlight this. Can you all see the structure here? A lot of you always ask me this question, Mr. Pang, before the word and, A-N-D, must I put a comma? How many of you think that there must be a comma after, before the word A-N-D? How many of you think that there should not be a comma after the word A-N-D? Okay, so you see, there's quite a number of you who say yes, quite a number of you who say no. Okay, so actually, right, according to the Oxford Handbook for Style, by right, you should. It's called, in fact, it's called an Oxford comma. Before the connected N, you put a comma. Yes, actually, you should put a comma. But if you omit it, you will also not be penalized. Okay? But in terms of stylistics, it's actually called an Oxford comma. So you should put a comma. Okay, very good, Kanish. Thank you very much. But let's remember the very important lesson that was taught to us. I think Hao Qian's example, do not use negatives alone, right? So don't have one negative example alone. Always make sure you use all positive or all negatives, and then be careful of your base form of verb if you are using a to infinitive. Okay, those are some lessons that we've learned with verb phrases. Now, at this point, before I go into noun phrases, which is going to go very quickly, any questions or not? All good, everybody? All clear, right? You understand now? Okay, Ariel, are you able to hear me? Do you understand what has just gone past? Can okay, let's go. Next one, all right? Let's move on. Okay, so let's go into noun phrases now. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to speed on from here because the pattern is the same. Okay, I'll just point out some differences. Okay, so notice here, books, movies, music. These are nouns, like just now, Yuwen's example, right? Okay, when she talked about what was it? Does well in mathematics, science, and mother tongue, right? So books, movies, and music are all nouns, right? But be careful, if you are talking about nouns with articles, the article must be repeated. Okay, so you notice here, a writer, a teacher, a mother. You cannot remove the article because remember, right, articles are married to the nouns they are next to. They cannot be taken apart. Okay, so be very careful that you don't lose the article when you repeat the noun phrase. Okay, so she is a teacher, a writer, a mother. They are my friends. Okay, so notice again here how the article my, I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening. Oh, give me 1 minute. Okay, my friends, my colleagues, my mentors, because this is a possessive pronoun, right? Therefore, it tells me that I cannot I cannot just leave it alone. I cannot leave it by itself. So I must put the possessive pronoun. So they are my friends, my colleagues, and my mentors. Okay. Otherwise, if you take away the my, right, then it's not clear who these colleagues are and who these mentors are. They are your mentors, your colleagues, your friends. Okay. This last one is a relative pronoun. What is a relative pronoun? Who. Okay. Relative pronoun is simply a pronoun that adds information to the main noun. Okay, a relative pronoun is a pronoun that adds more information to the main noun. In this case, who is he? He is the one who stole the money, right? Who stole the money is the relative pronoun and the additional clause that gives information about this person, he. Got it? So that is a relative pronoun. Who? Can you name me one other relative pronoun besides who? They always come together. They always happen very close to each other, right? Okay, some of you are raising your hands. That's very good. Solomon?
Who?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Who?
I can't hear you. Not very clear.
Whom?
Whom? Very good. Thank you. Whom? Okay.
That's good.
And of course, there's also whose, right? Whose, right? Whose, which tells you something belongs to something or somebody else. Okay, whose, right? Excellent. So that's a relative pronoun, and therefore very easy, right? Noun phrases are very easy, huh? So now I want you all to think about an example that includes either the number of nouns that are different, some kind of possessive, or use a relative pronoun. Okay, to come up with 3 different variations that are linked in the same sentence. Okay, obviously the easiest one is just to give a simple noun. Okay, so let me just pick at random. Can I have Brian? Can you take the first example? Think about it first. Can I have Javier to do the second example, please? Thank you. And can I have Skylar to do the third? Is that okay? Right, so Brian first, Javier second, and Skylar third. All right, let's go. Brian, are you ready? Or do you want a little bit more time?
I am ready.
Okay, go for it.
In secondary school, my favorite subjects are literature, geography, and mathematics.
Okay, very good. So literature, geography, and mathematics. So literature, geography, mathematics, these are all simple nouns, right? They do not have any articles attached to them. So there's no literature, geography, nothing. So it's just by itself, simple nouns. That's perfectly fine. Thank you very much. They are names of subjects. And must you capitalize them? Brian? Yes, you must, right? Because they are actual names of subjects, okay? So good. Thank you very much. They are disciplines. Javier, are you ready for your second example? Okay, go for it.
To play football, basketball, and floorball.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
My favorite sports are the football, basketball, and floorball.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So along the same lines as Brian, you've chosen to use simple nouns. All right. So again, simple nouns are simple, very easy. Skylar, can I challenge you and tell you not to use simple nouns and use something else instead besides simple nouns? Maybe either use something with articles or use something that is in the possessive or use something that's relative. Okay. Yeah. Go, Skylar.
I have a gun, a knife, and a hostage with me.
Okay, a gun, a knife, and a hostage. Very good. I like how you've built up your scene by using 3 disparate elements that add up to a hostage situation. Okay, very good, excellent. So the idea that you can create a list with a series of nouns, right, is what the rule of 3 is trying to present. And notice how these 3 items are always related to one another and they have the same form and function, right? So in the case of Brian and in the case of Javier, they use simple nouns, right? So for Brian, it was subjects, and for Javier, it was sports, right? And in the case of Skylar, he used nouns with articles attached to them. So it's specific, right? I have something, and something, right? Or if you want to be even more specific, I have the something, and the something else, right? So that would point it to an even more specific item or object, all right, to be even more specific. Okay, very good. Well done. So no problems with nouns at all. So I'm just going to park Skylar's example here as a reference for all of us. Okay, so Skylar's example is a gun, comma, what was the other items? Sorry, what?
Knife.
A knife, which is, I don't know, it strikes me as a bit redundant now, okay? Right, but never mind. And a hostage, okay? This sounds like something that a kidnapper or a terrorist would say, right? Over the phone, right? Probably to a negotiator or to a police officer who is, like trying to find out what's going on, right? Okay, so good. Yeah, that's good. So that could be part of direct speech, but that's the idea, right? Y'all get the idea? Are y'all getting it so far? It's pretty easy, right? So whether you use it in a verb or a noun phrase, the repetition of the rule of three, the use of the structure, comma, and, right? Comma, and, right? Produces a very cogent, very coherent, very nicely balanced sentence, right? And if you use this well and use it wisely, it can add a lot of color and detail to your writing, okay? Because you can fit three things into one, right? Rather than having three separate sentences, okay? Right, excellent. Let's move on very quickly. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, so adjective phrases, okay? And again, adjectives are very specific. Adjectives only modify what? What do adjectives, not say only, but they generally modify what types of words? Anyone? What do adjectives kind of always modify? Kanish?
Nouns.
No, nouns, right? Okay. So we are looking at adjectives, and therefore we need to make sure that the adjectives point to a particular noun, right? So that all three of them must refer to the same noun. Okay, so remember, because they must be related, right? They must, all three of them, point to the same noun. So in this case, right, the first example, she is the noun that I'm pointing to. And what is she? She is intelligent, she is creative, and she's successful. Right? And the second one, they, is the noun or pronoun that I'm pointing to. And they are the most loyal, reliable, and trustworthy. And here, I just want to highlight the word most. Sorry about that. Can you all still remember what is most? What is most? Okay, Duncan, what is most? Okay, Duncan's taking a while. Dia, go ahead.
To indicate a superlative verb.
Very good, thank you. I love that you use the word superlative, right? Superlative means it is the highest form, right? The highest form. That's why it's super, right? Superlative. It's above all, right? Superlative. What's one level below superlative? What's one level below superlative? Okay, Adrian?
Comparative.
Thank you. I like that you use the same family, the IVE suffix. So it's superlative, meaning it's out of everything, it's the highest. Comparative means out of two, it's the best. Okay, so comparing between more than two items is superlative. Comparing between two items is comparative, right? And then, of course, if there's only one item, there's no comparison at all. All right, so very good, well done. So you can, when you construct adjective phrases, either compare them by superlative or comparative, or you can simply state by description, right? You can describe somebody by adding attributes like intelligent, creative, successful, right? So there are different ways you can build adjective sentences, and these are just two very common ways. One is to just add details, right? The other is to compare in terms of either two or three or more items, all right? Most loyal, most reliable, most trustworthy, that kind of thing, okay? Any questions? So we're going through a bit of a tour of the major word groups and their functions at the same time as we're doing parallel structures, okay? So I hope you're okay with doing two things at the same time. Okay, so now let me pick on three other people to give me examples of adjective phrases. And these are also very easy to construct, okay? Let's see, can I have Ike Cheng do the first example? Can I have Jairus do the second example? And can I have Ryan do the third example? Okay. Okay, so Ike Cheng, Jairus, and Ryan. Okay, I give you a minute to think about it, all right? And then come back to me. You can either use a simple descriptive adjective, layering, or you can use a comparative, or you can use a superlative, right? Of course, can be anything, right? Okay, Ike Cheng, your mic doesn't work. Maybe you can type out the answer in the chat box when you're ready then we can all see your answer. Is that okay? Will that work? All right, great. So Ike Cheng, we will wait for your answer. You can type it out in the chat like you just did, right? But please post it to everyone rather than just to me so that everybody can see your answer. Okay, Ike Cheng, I'll give you a minute to do so, right? Maybe while Ike Cheng is typing, I will have Jairus. Why don't you get us started? Unmute yourself, remember?
He is more athletic, hardworking, and diligent than me.
Very good. I love it. So what kind of adjective did you just employ? Jairus? You only have three choices, either descriptive, comparative, or superlative. Which one was it?
Comparative.
Yeah, thank you very much. Exactly right. So thank you. You used the comparative form. So he is more athletic. I don't know what your other two are, okay, but more something, something, something than me. So I'm comparing between myself and another person. So it's two people, right? Comparative. Thank you. That's an excellent example. Thank you for getting us off to a good start. Okay, Ryan, would you like to go ahead with your example? Remember to unmute yourself, Ryan.
Everyone was extremely delighted when the winner was announced.
You're not getting my structure, are you? I need three different structures, three different adjectives arranged to describe one single main character or noun. Ryan, can you try again, please? Did you listen to the previous example by Jairus? He is more athletic, intelligent, and successful than me, right? So can you see that athletic, intelligent, and successful are three adjectives that are used in comparison between me and this other person? That's what I mean by creating a parallel structure using three adjectives. Can you try that now, please, Ryan?
Frustrated, overworked, and underpaid employees worked for hours.
I'm sorry, can you say that again, please?
Frustrated, overworked, and underpaid employees work for hours.
Frustrated, overworked, and
Underpaid.
okay, very good. Thank you. That and can you tell me what kind of adjective you are using? Are you using descriptive, comparative, or superlative? Ryan? Ryan? Descriptive,
Yes.
comparative, or superlative? Which type of adjectives were you using?
Descriptive.
Yes, you're right. You were using descriptive. Thank you. You sounded uncertain. Remember, when you're not comparing with anybody else, it's always descriptive. Okay? When you're comparing with two people or three people, it's either comparative or superlative. Got it? Okay, good. Thank you. Good. Thank you. And let me see. Ike Cheng, he is certainly more kind. Not smarter. You cannot have more smarter. Ike Cheng, be careful. It's more kind or kinder, smarter, and more handsome than his friend. Okay. And Ike Cheng's example. Okay. So let's look at Ike Cheng's example. Okay, everybody. Let's say I correct Ike Cheng's example. He is kinder. So cannot be more kind. More kind is incorrect. You all know why, right? Because when the adjective has an ER form, you don't use more. Is that clear, actually? Okay. He is kinder, smarter, right? And More handsome. I don't like more handsome. Do you know why I don't like more handsome? Anybody tell me why I don't like more handsome? Anybody?
It's ruining the pattern.
Yes, very good. It's ruining the pattern. Thank you, Kanish. So what would be a good replacement? Dia, can you tell me a replacement rather than more handsome? Please don't tell me handsomer. There's no such word. Okay? Yeah, give me another substitute that would work with this pattern. Dia? Thank you. You're getting it, people. You're good. Hello. Dia. Okay, Dia's taking too long. Sorry. Joshua, go.
Better looking.
No, I don't want. Change the meaning. It doesn't have to be the same meaning. Just change to a different adjective that fits the pattern. Gabriel?
Cuter.
Smarter, kinder, and cuter. Okay, fine. Yeah, thank you. So notice the ER format, right? Smarter, kinder, cuter. Smarter, kinder, quicker. Smarter, kinder, something else, ER. Okay? Yes, Kanish, do you raise your hand? Why are you so insistent?
Yes, I have a question, Mr. Pang. What does
Yep.
quantitative adjective mean?
A quantitative adjective means an adjective that tells you how many something is. So for example, right, instead of saying people, you say some people. Instead of people, you say many people. Many and some, these are quantitative adjectives. They tell you the number of something. In this case, some or many, or a few, right? Do y'all get it? Do you get it, Kanish? Okay. So a quantitative adjective is an adjective that gives you more information about the noun in terms of its number. Okay, maybe not exact, but it could be just a rough estimate kind of thing. Okay, everybody, excellent, thank you. All these examples are surfacing some very important flaws in your own grammatical structure. So I Cheng, be careful that you are very clear about adjective forms. Words that have ER forms, you cannot use more. Words that have EST form, you cannot use most. Okay, so you must be very clear about adjectives and the forms that they can take. Like for example, beautiful has no ER or EST. So you can use more beautiful, most beautiful, more handsome, most handsome. But cute, cuter, cutest, you cannot. Okay, you cannot say more cute and most cute because it exists in the ER and EST form. Okay, excellent. So I'm just going to pen down one example that will capture what we said. So I'm going to use maybe whose example can I use? Okay, never mind. I'll just put it in. Let's see. Quicker, smarter, and cuter. Okay, whatever. All right. Right. So remember, if I use the ER format, I want to be consistent. If I use the more and most, then I want to be consistent because anything else will break the pattern. It will not look as symmetrical and as smooth and coherent and similar. Okay. So all good so far? Very good. Our last one, I'm just going to end here because I'm cognizant of the timer. I don't want to take up too much of your timer. Okay, let's go. Next one. Okay, so adverbs. Okay. Hard, fast, and well, these are adverbs, right? So again, very simple adverbs, right? And then very simple ly adverbs, right? And then very simple time adverbs, okay? Right, so adverbs of time, adverbs of manner, right? Slowly, softly, and sweetly, these are adverbs of manner, right? Hard, fast, and well, these are like simple descriptive adverbs, right? And remember, adverbs always modify verbs, just as adjectives modify nouns, okay? So that's pretty straightforward, right? Okay, let's go. Adverb examples. Let's breeze through this very quickly. Can I maybe have Kylie? Can you do the first example? Okay. Javen, can you do the second example? And Claire, can you do the third example? All right, adverbs, huh? Okay. So Kylie, Javen, and Claire. Okay, I'll give you a minute to think about adverbs. You can use adverbs of time, adverbs of manner, or adverbs of frequency using the same parallel structure. Okay, it should be quite easy, right? Awesome, you guys. Doing well. Thank you. And the rest of you all can think also, and like, you know, what Shani did, you can also populate the chat group with some of your answers. Okay, then if I see some of your answers and I comment on it, then yeah, that will enrich our discussion as well. Okay, so you can be participants in this as well if you choose to. Okay, not just the 3 that I've chosen. Okay, thank you. Very good. Okay, let's see. Right. Ivy, are you ready? Okay, can you unmute yourself and give us a sample sentence with 3 adverbs in parallel form?
He works hard, smart and well.
Okay, he works hard, smart, and well. So I'm describing how he works. He works hard, he works smart, he works well. And I use 3 simple adverbs. Thank you very much. That is foundational level. Okay. Can I have something a little bit more complex? Javen?
He spoke clearly, slowly, and confidently.
Okay, thank you. Clearly, slowly, and confidently. You modeled yourself off the LY forms of the adverbs. Thank you very much. Okay, so then Claire, can you give me something to do with adverb of time or adverb of frequency? Because someone has already given us adverbs of manner. Someone has already given us simple adverbs. So adverbs of time.
My grandma likes to go for a jog every week.
You're done already, yeah? Does that follow the parallel structure and the rule of 3? No, right? Rule of 3, right? You need 3 adverbs of time strung together in the comma, comma, and comma format in order to qualify as a parallel structure, doesn't it? Okay, try again, please, Claire. I challenge all of you. I want, you know, adverbs of, adverbs of time now, okay? I challenge you, adverbs of time. Claire, quick. I give you some time to think about it. The rest of you can enter into the...
My grandma goes for a jog every Monday, every Tuesday, and every Thursday.
Yeah, okay, there you go. That's pretty easy, right? Every Tuesday, every Monday, every Tuesday, and every Thursday. All right, very good. Every is an adverb of time. In fact, it's an adverb of frequency, to be precise. So thank you. You went beyond time into frequency. Thank you very much. Okay, that was a good response. Right, is every Monday an adverb? Yes, Duncan, it is. Like Claire just demonstrated, right? Every Monday, every Thursday, every month, every week. All right, this is an adverb of frequency. It's repetitive and it's frequent. Okay, something like before, after also, right? I always like to drink a glass of milk, right? Before bedtime, after I wake up, and just before recess, something like that. Okay, so before, after can also be used as an adverbial phrase. Okay, very good, excellent, and that's adverb of time, adverb of frequency. Wonderful, wonderful, very good. So I'm just going to scribe down one example. Again, just to capture our discussion. Every Monday, remember Monday is capitalized. Tuesday, and here I'm modifying what Claire has just given us, and Wednesday. Notice I've taken away every. Sorry, how can I not spell Wednesday correctly? Apologize. Okay, so notice I've taken away the every, but it's invisibly implicit, it's there. Okay, I can see it's actually applying to Tuesday, it's applying to Wednesday as well. Every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So adverbs can function the same way as verbs can. They can actually be taken out, but they're invisible. Okay, please don't have side discussions that have nothing to do with the grammar structure, okay? Right? Like, Okay, thank you. All right. Joshua, please do not comment. Ariel, please do not comment. Adrian, try to keep your messages relevant to the discussion. Otherwise, people get distracted from the main discussion. Okay, everybody? Right? Remember the chat is a place for us to post relevant information. Anything that's not relevant can and will be a distraction. And you know, one distraction can cause many seconds to be lost, multiplied by the number of people who have to pay their attention to your distraction. Okay, so please be very, very careful about what you post, right? Thank you. All right, so he walks slowly, elegantly, and carefully. Good. My tuitions are every Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday. Good. Okay, all good examples. Thank you. Very good. Excellent. Okay, so I guess you get the hang of it, right? I just want to show you a negative example before I end today. Okay, so these are some examples of disruptions to the pattern. Can you all see that it doesn't sound as good? Okay, and then maybe I'll invite some of you to replace the ones that are in red with something that will fit the pattern. Okay, so Lucas, can you replace the first sentence? Lucas, Jafina, can you replace the second sentence? Okay, and Sun Le, can you replace the third sentence? Okay, so fix lah. Okay, so Lucas, Jafina, and Sun Le, fix first, second, and third respectively. Can? Okay, when you are ready, Lucas, can you fix the first one? Just tell us what you think might be a good replacement for the one in red.
She likes to read, write, and paint.
Okay, thank you. That's pretty straightforward, right? Because remember, write must be a simple verb form, not writing, which is in a progressive form, right? Or in the gerondification form, so cannot. So very good, thank you. Can I have Jafina replace the second one, please?
He is smart, funny, and kind.
Thank you. And you actually managed to even preserve the original meaning. Thank you. Funny is an excellent adjective replacement for has a good sense of humor, which is actually kind of like a verb phrase come relative pronoun kind of phrase. So it doesn't fit the pattern. Excellent. And finally, Sunda, can you give the third one a try? To succeed in life, you need to work hard. Sunda? I'm shutting down the chat function. Thank you very much. If you cannot use it responsibly, you will not use it at all. Okay, Sun Le.
To succeed in life, you need to work hard, read more, and be kinder.
No, that's incorrect. Okay, that's incorrect. So you can you see that this is a true infinitive, right? To something, right? To work hard, to something, and to something. Okay, so you need to follow the pattern, Sunda. You cannot add in kinder because kinder is a comparative adjective. It's not an infinitive verb. It's a totally different word class already. So you must be very careful, okay? Yeah, Skylar, why don't you try the first one? And Joshua, you try the second one, okay? Yeah, so to succeed in life, you need to work hard. Skylar?
Honestly.
Huh? No lah. I say again, to work hard, is an infinitive verb, no? Then you honestly is an adverb. Do you see that the two don't fit together? Can you see that?
How about
so it
be
is
honest?
incorrect. Okay, to work hard. Okay, be honest. Okay, right? Be is indeed. It is indeed an infinitive verb, right? So base form be, right? Okay, so to work hard, to be honest, and okay, Joshua, give me the third one.
Courageous.
And
Be courageous.
yeah, okay, and be courageous, right? And ideally, of course, you want to change work hard to be something else, lah, right? So be something, and be something will be the best, lah. Okay, but in this case, it's fine, all right? So it's all base form verbs. Work is base form, be is base form, be is base form. Do you get the hang of it, everybody? Do you kind of understand how this works? Okay, do you have any questions at this point? Yes, Joshua, go ahead.
Maybe right. You need to work honestly and work courageously.
Oh no, remember rule of 3, yeah? You only give me 2. You want to work honestly, courageously, and diligently. Right? If you want to do it, then you need 3 forms of it. To work, then your verb becomes your stem. To succeed in life, you need to work hard. Then you have to use, work hard, work smart, and work, you got to do it that way. Okay? Work hard, work smart, and work, something else. But in this case, Joshua, then ly, you got to do 3 lys strung together. Remember the rule of 3. Okay? Yes, Kanish? Yeah, go ahead.
So if it's to succeed in life, you need to work hard, work smart, and work a lot. So why is the
that's
word
fine.
repeated?
Because if you don't put work, right, then the other word cannot exist by itself. So you need to work hard, smart, and a lot. It sounds weird because smart and a lot don't stand by themselves. They need something to lean on. In this case, the work is there to give context to it. Work hard, work smart, and work a lot, right? And there's something repetitive about it, which is good. Okay?
So if it's a verb, it can stand by itself?
What do you mean? Give me an example and I'll tell you if it can stand by itself.
Example, like,
So don't ever ask questions when you don't have an example in mind. That means that you're just asking a question for its own sake. Always have something in mind before you ask a question. You get what I mean?
Never mind.
All right. Okay. Any other questions? Anything else? All good, everybody? Okay, because I'm very cognizant of the time. It's actually almost 1 hour since we started. I wanted to stop quite a lot earlier, but never mind. It's okay. Good. So no questions, right? Then this is it for today. I've finished my lesson, the substantives of it. I will post an SLS assignment very soon for you all to practice on. So do check your SLS every now and again over this very long weekend, okay? You basically have like 4 days ahead of you. So please try to check SLS. I'll post some activities for you. Yes, Tia?
Speaking of SLS, have you corrected our compose?
No, I have not had time to do very much by way of marking, right?
Okay.
Please be patient, but I promise you before I come back, you all will get it back. Okay? Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, Jenny?
What number have you marked until?
I can't remember, dear. I have not had time to visit it at all. That's how swamped I've been. Yeah. I'll tell you all more when I get back, okay? Yeah, but anyway, anything else? Nothing related to today's lesson now. It's quite clear, right? You all understand. I'll send the slides to you as usual. I'll send the recording and the link to you. If you only came in midway, you missed the earlier part of it, don't worry. I'll post the recording for all of you. Today, I think the recording is quite clean. We didn't have to scold anybody, so it's good. All mistakes made were honest, and everyone was able to kind of understand the mistakes that we made along the way. Remember, making mistakes is good. It's not a bad thing, nothing to be ashamed about. And as we make mistakes, we learn together. Okay? If no questions, then I'm going to end today's session. Unless you want to stay back and ask me some other questions, by all means, go ahead. Otherwise, Happy New Year. Have a wonderful time. I'll see you all back again. Okay? We'll have next Wednesday. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Good to see you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Mr. Fang, and have a happy New Year.
next.
Bye. Thank you.
Happy New
Have a nice day.
Happy New Year.
Bye. See you all. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Happy New Year.
Bye. Happy New Year.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
恭喜发财。
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye. Yes. Daryl, were you paying attention just now?
Yeah.
Sure.
I find Mrs. Ong boring.
Don't say that. You're just not used to her
That's
style yet.
kind of
Give it some time.
boring. When are you coming back?
I told you 2 more weeks and I'll be back.
Shalina said she misses you.
Why do you know Shalina?
She's my friend.
Really?
Met during art lesson.
Oh, you, huh? What?
Oh, so it's like extra lesson.
Okay, don't understand.
Something like tuition like that.
Hey, bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.